I'm not saying anything. I'm just repeating what they said. See, Karl Marx believed that socialism and communism were interchangeable, although the theory is that socialism is the lower phase, the transitioning to the final phase, which is communism. Now, Margaret Thatcher said that the problem with socialism, besides the fact it turns into communism, is you always run out of other people's money. Winston Churchill said that fascists in the future will call themselves anti-fascist. Ronald Reagan said that if fascism does make its way to the United States, it will be done so under the disguise of liberalism. And Malcolm X said that the biggest enemy to the black population is the white liberal. So again, I'm not making any claims or stating anything. I'm just speaking about history. And good luck with Memdami, 24 hours later, already begging for money while he's got a trip booked to Puerto Rico for a conference on your dime.
Yeah, I seem to think that white liberal women will be the downfall of America if we let them. Because make no mistake about it, I saw a statistic that showed that there was a massive percentage of white liberal women who voted for Mamdani, cheering it on. But they could never answer the question of where has anything like this ever succeeded? And they always want to go towards, oh, well, it's about compassion and this and that. Bro, the issue that I have with these white liberal women, and we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here in just a second, but I just want to address this. The issue that I have with white liberal women is they're always voting to what they call help, right? For example, defunding the police. Well, we don't want black and brown people to be discriminated against. Well, Karen, you've never lived on that side of town, have you? You've never lived in an area where you need to call the police for help. You've never been outside of your house and heard gunshots ringing off and had to sprint back inside. You've never lived over there. So why are you trying to vote in a way that's only, or mainly, not only, because cops go everywhere, but it's mainly going to affect that side of town when you've never lived there? You're voting in favor of free buses. You've never had to ride the bus in a day in your life. You've always had a vehicle. You see what I mean? Like they're voting for things that they've never experienced, that they've never had to go through. And it irks me, bro. It really does irk me. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. I just had to address that a little bit. Maybe I'll dive more into that on the second channel. And that leads to my other point. I actually was going to upload this on the second channel, but I've got some other stuff that I'm going to upload over there. So make sure y'all subscribe to the second channel. It is called Extra Rich, XTRA space RICH. The link is down below in the description box as well. But let's get into this clip that I came across. Check it out.
Mamdani won yesterday because the education system failed my generation. 75% of voters under the age of 30 supported Mamdani. And there are essentially two types of people in this group. First, there are the people who actually hate America and want to destroy it. You know, the ones they're chanting globalize the Intifada, want to assassinate everyone who makes more money than them, and think it's a tragedy that the Soviet Union collapsed. Then there's another group of people, probably the majority of people, who see that there are legitimate issues with New York City, but the education system has failed them so miserably that they have no idea how to fix it. Like, yes, New York City is extremely expensive, and government policy is largely what has made it that way. So of course, someone who comes in and says, well, everything's just going to be free, sounds great to people who are rightfully concerned about prices but don't know anything about economics or history. But government-controlled rent, grocery stores...
She's right about the education system as well. Because anybody that falls for that level of simple-mindedness, oh yeah, free this, free that, you get a car, you get a car, you get a free bus, and you get a free bus... The light's on, but nobody's home, right? Anybody with even a lick of common sense who paid attention for 10 minutes in school knows that nothing in life is free. Somebody is going to pay for it. And that leads to another point this whole tax the rich, it is never going to happen. You are never going to tax the rich. Speaking of the rich, the very people that are trying to push some of these policies are the rich. Nancy Pelosi, who's had a salary of about $175,000, less than $200,000. And don't get me wrong, $200,000 is a lot of money, right? Her net worth is over $300 million. How in the world does that even make sense? She's a part of the rich, isn't she? She has over $250 million, or at least her net worth is over $250 million. And she's not a part of the rich? Really? Bernie Sanders, he's admitted himself, he owns 3 homes. Last time I checked, hell, owning just 1 home in America is amazing. He owns 3? And you mean to tell me he's not a part of the rich as well? Really? Another point goes to the famous debate between Uncle Trump and Hillary Clinton. We all remember that, right? We remember that night. There was one moment where where Hillary was trying to go after Trump because he doesn't pay a whole lot in taxes. And he hit her back like, no, I don't pay a whole lot in taxes. I pay very little. And so do all your donors, Hillary. And the reason why I'm able to get away with it is because the people that donate to you use the tax loopholes that you will never close. You'll never close these tax loopholes because the very people that give you money use them. And so I use them too. So if you want me to pay my fair share, then close the tax loopholes. I bet you won't. And what do you know? She never did. Democrats never did. You know why? Because these so-called the rich, are the ones that donate to their party. You know, the George Soroses of the world as well. It's silly, bro. And then on top of that, if you want to take it another level, bro, you don't think the rich are intelligent? Like, they're rich for a reason. Like, dollar bills didn't just fall from the sky. I mean, that would be nice. You know, don't get me wrong, that would be lovely. If dollar bills just started raining from the sky, you know, just right above me, that would be lovely right now. Just out of thin air, you know, just dollar bills, just poof. Oh. But they didn't become rich out of nowhere. They're typically intelligent individuals or have some type of skill that is highly valued. Not only that, they're very well connected. On top of that, they're rich, so they can get up and leave and go wherever it is that they want to go, like that. Like that. So now what? You're going to tax the rich when they leave America, or when they leave your city, or when they leave your state? How are you going to tax them then? You're going to tax the rich when they have their own personal, right, tax people who cater to just them? I mean, they have folks that know the tax code like the back of their hand. And you think you're going to tax these people? Really? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Like, this whole notion of, we'll tax the rich, it's so silly and so played out. These people have been crying the same thing for years now. And you haven't realized it's not going to happen? There's a reason why it's not happening. There's a reason why Democrats don't want to change the tax code. Simple. It's simple. Goodness gracious. Does anybody else get frustrated by? Hit that subscribe button if you frustrated by these liberals out here like I am, man. Because that is so frustrating. Like, stuff that I see is like just simple common sense. It's like, bro, it's just straight over their heads.
History. But government-controlled rent, grocery stores, and healthcare are not going to make these issues better. Because once the rich people that the Mamdani voters hate so much either leave the city completely or run out of money for the government to take, they're going to first have to deal with lower quality of services and then shortages. And this is all so frustrating for those of us who have either read a book about this stuff or who are even just paying attention to what's happening in, say, our own country in like California, or who are paying attention to other countries that have gone down this path like Venezuela or Cuba. But what's most concerning to me isn't necessarily the economic issues, even though those are going to be an issue. The bigger concern for me is the growing number of people who know what socialism is and know what it leads to, but they want it for America because they hate America and want to destroy it. And the ignorant majority is giving them what they want. Because it's not just the economy that politicians have access to, they also have access to the education system and law enforcement. And with access to these parts of our society, they can intentionally make things worse and then point to things getting worse and say, look, the American project was always doomed to fail. Mamdani is the product of a cycle where people who want America and the West destroyed are creating an environment where they can easily manipulate the ignorant majority into supporting these policies that are going to actively destroy the country. Remember that desperate people are extremely easy to manipulate. People should fear socialism the same way that they fear Nazism, and the fact that they don't shows how far the brain rot goes. The only way to beat this is to start by arming people with facts. If we can't turn this around, and turn this around soon, the country will start to look like the Soviet Union, or maybe even something worse.
No, yeah, I agree. We got to start arming people with just straight up facts, truth. And it's one of the reasons why if you watch all of my shorts, I actually posted a clip from one of Ami Horowitz's videos. Shout out to Ami Horowitz, where he went to Venezuela, right? And he asked the Venezuelan citizens, or he told them about how there were some Americans who wanted socialism in America. And one of the ladies was like, basically, they're stupid. They're stupid. You don't want this. We're living through it now, you know? And I posted it as a YouTube short, hoping that it would educate some folks, right? To open their eyes and realize what you think is sunshine and rainbows is not sunshine and rainbows. We all know the saying, salt looks like sugar. But when you taste it, you damn sure know that salt is not sugar, okay? They're selling these folks a pipe dream. A dream that will never come to fruition. At the beginning, it may work, right? At the very, very beginning. It may be nice and beautiful, right? Things are free. Some things are free to some people, right? Because nothing is free. It's just taxes paying for it. But then eventually it all falls apart. It does every single time. Every single time. There's not a time or a situation where that type of governing has succeeded. It's failed every single time. So it's just mind-boggling to me that people keep wanting to go through with this experiment. I understand that people are struggling and, want some type of change, right? But that's not the change that you want. I mean, we've seen it 1,000 times. How many times do you need to watch a movie before you know what the ending is? Once, right? It's like they keep watching the same movie, but like, I don't know how this ends. I don't know how this ends. Bro, you've watched it 1,000 times. How do you don't know how this ends? You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me, man. But I don't know. I guess the only thing that we can continue to do is just keep putting out the information, and hopefully over time we can reverse the brain rot and make sure that we educate the masses, which I don't think most people in America right now, currently today, want socialism or believe in socialism. I think most people in America are smart enough to understand and realize that doesn't work. But you don't want this to spread. And we have a major problem in our education system where I do believe inside of a lot of our schools, kids who are a blank piece of paper, right? Our children are a blank sheet of paper. Our kids are being educated in how socialism would be great. I genuinely believe that. And I honestly don't know how we fix that. So we can stop the indoctrination in schools, because that's where I think it's partially originating from, is schools. But how do we stop it? You know, if anybody has any ideas, please educate us all in the comments. How do we stop that from happening? But then also just in society in general, how can we stop the spreading of this harmful ideology? Let us all know. All right. Do me a favor. Stay safe out there. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.